When you think Sahara, what comes to mind? Probably just sand, right? An endless, empty desert. But what if I told you that's completely wrong? That it's actually one of the most mysterious places on Earth, hiding secrets that link up ancient myths, whole lost worlds, and even the future of our planet. Seriously. Okay, let's get into it. So, let's set the scene. It's 1965. You've got astronauts James McDivitt and Edward White floating high above North Africa in their spacecraft. They're looking down at this huge, kind of uniform stretch of desert when, all of a sudden, they see something. Something that's just impossible. Something that has absolutely no business being there. What they saw was this colossal, almost perfectly circular formation. I mean, it looked for all the world like a giant eye was staring right back at them from the heart of the desert. We now know it as the Richet structure, but you can probably guess its nickname, the Eye of the Sahara. And look, it's hard to even wrap your head around the scale of this thing. We're talking 40 kilometers across. That's massive. It's so big, in fact, that if you were standing right in the middle of it, you'd have no idea you were in it. The only way to see the whole eye is from way, way up, from space. So obviously, the big question is, what in the world made this thing? The first guess, and it's a good one, is an asteroid impact. Makes sense, right? But when scientists checked, they couldn't find any shocked rock. That's the superheated, busted-up stone that's basically the smoking gun for an impact. So if it wasn't an asteroid, what was it? Well, this is where things get really interesting and a little bit mythical. Okay, so stick with me here. Let's go way back to the ancient Greek philosopher Plato. He's the one who wrote about the legendary lost city of Atlantis. And how did he describe it? He said it was built in these perfect concentric rings of land and water. Now, look at the Eye of the Sahara. You see those concentric rings of rock? It's an uncanny match. Just wild, right? And it doesn't even stop there. If you go digging into old maps, you find some really weird stuff. About 2,500 years ago, the historian Herodotus actually marked a city called Atlantis right where the eye is located. Then, 500 years later, another guy, a Roman geographer named Pomponius Mela, marks a city called Atlantia in the exact same place. I mean, is that just a coincidence? Maybe, but it's a pretty big one, don't you think? Okay, the whole Atlantis thing is super cool to think about for sure, but what if the eye isn't the final mystery? What if it's just a clue, a big, giant signpost pointing to an even bigger secret? A secret hidden beneath the sands of the entire Sahara that will totally change the way you picture it. You ready for this? The biggest secret of the Sahara is, it wasn't always a desert. Not even close. For millions of years, during a time scientists call the African humid period, the Sahara was green. I'm talking a lush, vibrant savanna with huge lakes, rivers, grasslands, the whole deal. It was only around 6,000 years ago that the climate started to shift, and this green paradise slowly turned into the massive desert we know today. So that green world is gone, but it left behind echoes, little clues to its past that are still out there today. You just have to know where to look for them. Get this. Deep inside caves, scattered across the desert, you can find ancient rock art. And it's like a time capsule. These aren't pictures of sand dunes. They show people swimming. They show huge herds of cattle grazing in fields. It's undeniable proof that this place was once wet, green, and full of life. And the clues aren't just carved in stone. Some of them are alive. Because in these tiny, isolated little pockets of water, deep in the desert, you can actually find crocodiles. Now wait a minute. Crocodiles? In the middle of the world's biggest hot desert? How does that even happen? Well, the thing is, they didn't. They didn't travel there. They were left behind. These crocodiles are living relics. They're the descendants of populations that lived in the huge rivers and lakes that used to cover the Sahara. As the water disappeared over thousands of years, they just got trapped in the last few spots that stayed wet. And this green Sahara wasn't just a home for animals. It was a cradle for us, for humanity. In fact, one of the oldest, most complete early human skeletons ever found, you've probably heard of her, Lucy, was discovered right in this region. She's 3.2 million years old. That tells you this land has been at the center of the human story right from the start. So we've got a possible lost city, a definite lost world, but believe it or not, the most incredible secret of the Sahara has nothing to do with its past. It's all about something amazing it's doing right now, today, that affects all of us. Okay, here's how it works.
Every single year, these huge winds sweep across the Sahara and pick up millions of tons of dust. But this dust doesn't just fall back down. Nope, it gets carried in this enormous cloud for over 4,000 kilometers all the way across the Atlantic Ocean. And its final destination? The Amazon rainforest. And this isn't just any old dust. It's packed with phosphorus, which is basically a super fertilizer that the Amazon absolutely needs to survive.
Think about that for a second. The desert is giving life to the jungle. The world's largest hot desert is literally fertilizing the world's largest rainforest. A place we think of as barren and lifeless is actually a critical source of life for one of the most vibrant places on the entire planet. How amazing is that? All right, so now that we know the Sahara is full of surprises, let's do a little rapid-fire fact check and bust a few common myths you've probably heard. Myth number 1. The Sahara is the biggest desert in the world. Is it true? Nope, that's false. It's actually number 3. Now, it is the world's largest hot desert, for sure, but the cold polar deserts of Antarctica and the Arctic are way, way bigger. All right, next up. The Sahara is always scorching hot, right? Well, think again. Like all deserts, it gets really cold at night. In some parts of the Sahara, the temperature can actually drop to -6 degrees Celsius. It's even snowed there. Yeah, snow in the Sahara. It happens. And finally, let's talk about all that sand. You know, the classic image of endless dunes? Well, that's not really what the Sahara is like. Turns out only about 25% of it is sand. The other 75%, it's mostly gravel, rocky plains, and even mountains. So we started this journey with a mysterious eye staring out from the desert, and along the way, we found a lost green world and this incredible lifeline to the Amazon. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? If a whole green world, ancient maps, and living fossils were all just hiding in plain sight, what else is still out there, buried deep beneath all that sand?